I'm trying to plan as many games as I can, from beloved classics to recent releases and everything in between, and today we're going all the way back to where it all began as I attempt to platinum Jak and Daxter the Precursor Legacy. Jak and Daxter Precursor Legacy was originally released on the PS2 in December 2001. Now it's released on the PS5 in the classic catalogues. The new version now has enhanced graphics, it's now playable at 60 FPS, and it also has its own dedicated trophy list. There is a total of 26 trophies including the platinum, so technically there's only 25 to get. Platinum for this is pretty straightforward. The majority of the trophies come from collecting every power cell, which also means you'll naturally unlock most of them as are story-related trophies. On top of that, there are a few miscellaneous trophies that require completing specific tasks, performing certain actions throughout the game. As the majority of the trophies are to do with collecting power cells, there are some requirements to fully collect all power cells for the area. These are orbs, power cells, and scout flies. Power cells can be obtained throughout a number of areas and ways. Firstly, they can be found throughout the land, missions by talking to local folk towns by doing certain activities from them, or by exchanging 90 orbs for a power cell from them, or by oracle by exchanging 120 orbs, as well as collecting 7 scout flies from the area. The total collection for these are 2,000 orbs, 101 power cells, although technically there's 100 but one secret or hidden one, making it a total of 101, and 112 scout flies. Now this isn't just another platinum for me. Jak and Daxter was the very first video game I ever played when I was little on the PS2. I grew up with Ratchet and Clank series, Jak and Daxter series and Sly series, and quickly loved each of them and getting completely lost into their world. Looking back now, it's kinda crazy to think that one game sparked a hobby that lasts my entire life. If it hadn't been for Jak and Daxter, I probably wouldn't be sitting here making the videos that I like today. So this platinum is a little more special than most. It's not just about adding another trophy to the collection, it's about revisiting the game that started the gaming journey and finding out if it's still as fun as it was all those years ago. So without further ado, let's head back over to Sandover Village to earn that platinum for Jak and Daxter Precursor Legacy. The story begins by introducing us to two best friends, Jak and Daxter, who spent their days getting into trouble. After ignoring the warning staying away from Misty Island, the pair decided to sneak over anyway to search for some adventure. Fortunately for them, things don't go exactly as planned. They stumble across an army of lurkers and appears two mysterious siblings ordering them to continue their search for artifacts and eco from the local towns in regards to precursor items for their own heinous crimes, which we do not know yet. Whilst still continuing to explore the island, they stumble across a pool of dark eco. After, a lurker ambushes them by surprise and Jak fends it off by trying to defend himself and Daxter. Daxter falls in and transforms into an otzel, a bizarre mix between an otter and a weasel. Panic and stressed, the two head back over to Sandover Village, hoping Samos can help them, but turns out he is unable to help. The only person who can help is Gore, a dark eco researcher who lived far away into the north, but he has not been heard of in many years, and the Sage's teleportation gates have been inactive for quite some time. With no other option, Jak and Daxter must travel using the Zuma Kira built, in which we need power cells for. She explains they can be earned by helping villagers trade in precursor orbs or finding them scattered throughout the world. Before heading over with our goal set, we walked over to Geyser Rock for some basic tutorial and gameplay mechanics. Here we are introduced to Green Eco, which acts as Jak's health. In this game, Jak has 3 health bars. He technically has 4 if you collect all 50 Green Eco whilst maintaining all 3 bars. One hit from the enemy means 1 life bar is taken away. Each time you collect 50 Green Eco, it restores any damage you have taken. We then move on to discover the Blue Eco, one of the different eco types scattered throughout the world. Blue Eco temporarily boosts Jak's speed and lets him activate precursor machinery, attract nearby orbs and smash open crates with ease. I have the trophy for the tutorial section unlocked, but I don't have the clip of it as it was taken in 2025 and I was playing on the PS Portal at the time. With the tutorial section out the way, I walked back over to Sandover Village to take in the scenery, and then I slowly made my way to the Forbidden Forest, as I know by doing that area first I can unlock the blue eco vents in the area. As I made my way over there, I stumbled across a farmer who needed help getting his yak cows back into the fence, and he offered me a power cell in return, so I decided to do that mission since it was nearby the Forbidden Jungle. This is one of the many missions led by the locals. I traversed my way through the area, exploring what I can and making sure to collect all the collectibles that I ran across. Along the way, I helped a fisherman who needed help catching 200 pounds of fish in exchange for a power cell and access to his boat. The challenge was to avoid poisonous eels and making sure I didn't miss too many fish, with the green fish worth £1 and the yellow fish worth £5. After a small amount of attempts, I was able to complete this section and claim the rewards, although this section did bring back memories of how much I struggled with this as a kid. After that, I continued to explore the Forbidden Jungle and eventually came across a series of blue eco-powered machinery. I redirected the blue energy beams back to Sandover village. I unknowingly completed one of the mayor's requests by restoring power back to the village, earning myself another power cell for when I get to him. With that taken care of, I headed deeper into the ancient Precursor temple, solving a few puzzles and navigating traps, and grabbing every collectible I can along the way. Before long, I was rewarded with the first trophy from my playthrough, which was to collect all power cells in the forest, which serves as a story trophy as well. With Forbidden Jungle fully completed, I headed back over to Sandover village to see if there's any locals that needed a hand. Thankfully, helping the locals in this game comes with a power cell as a reward, so it was worthwhile speaking to everyone that you can before moving on. Most of the tasks led by the locals pointed me to the direction of Sentinel Beach, although there is one where I needed to visit Misty Island to retrieve the sculpture's muse. So with my next destination set, I made my way over to Sentinel Beach, clearing out any lurkers lurking around, completing any local activities, as well as collecting everything that I could along the way. Before long, I had every power cell collected in Sentinel Beach, earning me another trophy. Since collecting all the power cell is required for the story progression, this one came naturally as part of the journey. With Sentinel Beach cleared, I used the boat earlier from the fishermen and finally made my way over to Misty Island. The first thing on my to-do list was to track down the sculpture's muse. Chasing it around took a little longer than I expected, with plenty of tricky jumps, tight turns, but just after a few attempts I managed to secure another power cell. Before heading back to the sculpture, I decided to see what else Misty Island had to offer and explored more of it. The area was heavily focused on platforming, requiring me to carefully jump across gaps whilst dealing with ambushes of lurkers along the way. During my exploration, I discovered another type of eco, the red eco. Unlike the green and blue eco, red eco enhances Jak's strength, allowing him to deal more damage and take down tougher lurkers with ease. I moved on to one of the more memorable parts of Misty Island, the zoomer section. Flying around at high speed, navigating tight turns, and using the zoomer to take out enemies was a lot more fun. It was a great change of pace from the usual platforming that I usually do, and it showed off the variety of Jak and Daxter had to offer. Even this early in the game, it was fun little challenge and one of the standout moments from the island. With Misty Island finally done and dusted, it was time to head back over to Sandover village and cash in on some of the rewards. I returned the sculpture's muse with completed his request and earned another power cell. This unlocked another trophy for collecting all power cells in Misty Island. After that, I made my way over to the Oracle to spend Precursor orbs that I have collected throughout the journey. With enough orbs saved, I was able to purchase the final 2 power cells available in Sandover village. Collecting these completed everything in the village had to offer and rewarded me with another trophy for collecting all power cells for Sandover village. At this point, Sandover village, Sentinel Beach, Forbidden Jungle and Misty Island were fully cleared, so it was time to move forward with the story. This started a new zoomer segment where I had to travel from Sandover village all the way over to Rock village, navigating the route whilst avoiding obstacles and making use of the zoomer's speed and abilities, all whilst trying to collect all the collectibles for the area. I was able to get all the orbs but missed the last scout fly at the very end. This wasn't too much of a problem as I was able to just turn back from where I finished. In doing so, I managed to unlock another trophy and a story related one, which was to collect all power cells in Fire Canyon. Once I reached Rock Village, I activated the Blue Sage's walk gate, allowing easy access for Kira and Samus to pass through as well as travel between areas. Turns out, Rock Village has a flame boulders being thrown by Claw, so our next mission is to gain enough power cells to power the levitating machine the Blue Sage was working on to move the boulder out the way. I kicked things off at Rock Village by speaking to the geologists and other locals to pick up any missions as possible before setting off. The geologist's request took me to the Precursor Basin, a large open area that revolves almost entirely around the zoomer. There were plenty of objectives to complete, including herding moles into the burrow, removing the dark eco-infested plants, hunting down flying lurkers, and chasing both blue and purple rings. The ring challenges were definitely the trickiest of the bunch. Some of the turns were incredibly sharp and you had to react almost instantly to spot where the next ring was, before the timer expired. More than once, I completely lost track of where I was supposed to go next, especially during the blue ring challenges. The final task was beating the time trial around the basin. Out of everything in Precursor Basin, this was especially my favourite mission. Racing around the course at full speed was far more exciting than chasing rings or herding moles, and it was a nice change of pace that made a great use of the zoomer's controls. Once everything was wrapped up, I had cleared every objective in the area and I was rewarded with another trophy for getting everything in Precursor Basin. With Precursor Basin completed, I made my way over to Boggy Swamp. The main objective here was to bring down the Lurker Zeppelin, which was held down in place by 4 tethers. Each tether was anchored by a large rock, and destroying each one of them rewarded me with a power cell. It was also here that I discovered another type of eco, the yellow eco. Unlike the others, Yellow Eco gives Jak the ability to fire powerful energy projectiles. This makes it perfect for taking out groups of enemies from a distance. It also plays a key role in this level, as I needed it to destroy the rocks securing each Zeppelin's tether, as well as helping Buggy Bill out with saving his mushrooms. It quickly became one of my favourite eco powers thanks to how satisfying and useful it was throughout the swamp. After bringing down the Zeppelin and finishing up the remaining objectives, all that was left was to do some cleanup and get the collectibles. I'd missed some throughout the swamp. Once I got everything that was collected, I was rewarded yet with another trophy for obtaining every power cell in Buggy Swamp. I made my way over to the lost Precursor city that was nearby Boggy Swamp, which quickly became one of my favourite areas in the game. It features a great mix of platforming, puzzle and combat, with plenty of different lurker types keeping me on my toes as I explored the ancient ruins. One of the standout sections for this area was the slide sequence, where I had to race down the tunnel whilst avoiding explosive crates and other hazards along the way. It was a fun challenge and a change of pace as it required a quick reaction, good timing, making it one of the more memorable moments for the level. The level all built up to one final escape sequence. After activating a power cell inside an old Dark Eco silo, we accidentally triggered a chain reaction that caused the entire chamber to begin to collapse. With Dark Eco rapidly rising from the below, we had to frantically climb and platform our way up a long vertical shaft before it caught up to us. We conclude the area by collecting the last power cell needed and was rewarded with a trophy. It was a tense finish to the level. With every area in Rock Village completed, there was just one thing left to do before moving on. I needed to track down the remaining scout flies. Thankfully, there wasn't much left to find. The final scout fly ended up being in such an obvious spot near one of the huts, which I couldn't believe that I managed to miss first time round. With all the areas finally completed, it was time to move on to Claw, the major boss for Jak and Daxter. We returned to Kira with all the power cells that we had collected, and she is able to use the machine to remove the giant boulder blocking our way. Initially, the boss fight isn't too hard, but it can be a bit stressful as you progress, as he shoots giant boulders at you quicker after each phase, and you also have to dodge them and react a bit quicker as well. Blue Eco is used here to form a bridge in which we need to quickly reach the end of it to obtain the Yellow Eco and shoot him down, all whilst dodging the rocks rolling out as well as the gaps to fall in the lava. After finally defeating Claw, I was rewarded with another power cell and it unlocked the path to the next area. From there, we used the zoomer for another high-speed canyon run towards the Red Sage's hut. This time though, the flying lurkers were carrying explosives destroying the canyon's path, meaning I had to race through the canyon to reach the end before they could destroy the route ahead. Blue Eco here was used to help us speed faster to reach the finish line quicker before they could. Normally you would get a trophy for collecting everything here, but there's a hidden power cell which we would need to come back to later as it was a hidden path. We again activated the warp gate for the Red Sage's hut, allowing Samos and Kira to come through, only to find out we were too late. The Red Sage had already disappeared and we meet the mysterious siblings again. Turns out they are Gol and Maya, the very sages that we need help to get Daxter to turn back into human form. They reveal their plan to use the Sage's power to open the silos filled with Dark Eco, and they want to take control of Dark Eco and reshape the world. Daxter, now even more stressed, realizing Gol was never going to help him willingly, and there was the only option left, was to stop Gol and Maya before it was too late. Our next objective became very clear. We needed to reach their citadel before they could unleash the Dark Eco. The only problem? The route there is blocked by a massive lava tube, and the only way to get across is to again use a zoomer, and you guessed it, we need more power cells. I decided to tackle the spider cave first, exploring each path whilst collecting power cells, scout flies, precursor orbs and destroying Dark Eco crystals along the way. One section had me fighting through a swarm of spiders to reach the power cell at the end. Whilst grabbing the power cell wasn't too difficult, collecting every orb was another story. I needed the Yellow Eco to destroy the green Eco boxes that wasn't available yet, meaning I had to come back to this later. Even though I couldn't get the orbs to get everything in the area, I did collect all the power cells, which rewarded me with a trophy. Next, I took the gondola up to Snowy Mountain, one of the bigger and more exploration heavy area in the game. The main objective here was to activate the Yellow Eco vent switch, which would unlock the Yellow Eco vent throughout the world, and to deactivate all 13 precursor blockers scattered across the mountain by jumping onto each one of them. Since the blockers were spread across almost every corner of the level, I found myself exploring the entire mountain, taking up plenty of platforming sections, battling through groups of lurkers, as well as picking up collectibles that I came across. As I unlocked the Yellow Eco vent, I went back to the spider cave just to get all the orbs there so I don't have to come back for it later on. By collecting the orbs, I was able to get the remaining power cells from the Oracle, in which a trophy was collected for getting all the power cells in Volcanic Crate. I also made a quick trip back to the mountain pass to collect the secret power cell. This is where I needed the yellow eco, which I hadn't unlocked previously, but I did now, so I was able to get another trophy for collecting all power cells in mountain pass area. With everything collected, it was finally time to make our way through the lava tube. This ended up being one of my favourite zoomer sections again as well in the game, thanks to its fast pace and constant action. There were plenty of obstacles to avoid, including lava pools, collapsing paths and exploding hazards, all whilst making sure to collect enough cooling balloons to keep the zoomer from overheating. It was also a much longer zoomer segment compared to previous zoomer sections, making it a true test of everything that I'd learned up to this point. As it was longer, I got a trophy for popping 25 cooling balloons and another trophy after that for collecting all power cells in lava tube. After making it through the lava tube, we finally reached Golemaya's citadel, only to find out Samos has been kidnapped along with all the other sages. They were used to power the Precursor machine. Our next objective now is to rescue them, leading us through a series of platforming sections and puzzles as we climb deeper into the citadel. We slowly make our way to rescue each sage one by one. Once all the sages were free, Gol and Maya made their final move. They entered the massive Precursor machine and climbed their way to the top of the silo, preparing to unleash dark eco across the world. With everything on the line, our final mission was clear. It was to stop them before it was too late. Before we journeyed to the top of the silo leading to the final boss fight, we earned a trophy for collecting all Precursor orbs. This now means all 2,000 orbs have been collected. However, I was missing a scout flight in the citadel, so it means I have to return back at the end to collect it. The final boss definitely lived up to being the last challenge of the game. Similar to Claw, each of the phases became more intense, with faster attacks, more enemies spawning and less room for mistakes. It took me a good few attempts as I struggled to react quick enough, getting overwhelmed by the enemies and accidentally falling into the dark eco pool below. After finally defeating Gol and Maya, the power of all 4 sages combined to create light eco. This is the only force capable of stopping the dark eco that they plan to unleash. Daxter now had the choice to either save the world or to fix him, so he chose to use the light eco to save the world instead. With the power of light eco at our disposal, we perform one final attack as Jak is able to control and wield the light eco against Gol and Maya, putting an end to their plan once and for all. Defeating them unlocked the final story trophy for taking them down in the game's main villain, bringing the adventure to one step closer to completion. With the main story completed, I unlocked the secret ending as I have collected all 100 power cells. To be honest, to this day I don't really know what they saw or what the fascination was, because maybe it might be an introduction to Jak 2, but it was a really confusing secret ending. With everything completed, I revisited previous areas to track down any missed scout flies. In this case, it was the Citadel. So I collected the last scout fly, earning me a trophy for collecting all power cells in the Citadel area. At this point, the majority of the hard work has already been done, so it was satisfying going back through each area, finishing off small tasks that I had missed along the way. With only a few collectibles and challenges remaining, the platinum was now within reach. The rest of the trophies and challenges were now level specific, so I went back to Geyser Rock and did the tutorial section with 12 jumps or less to earn a trophy. After that, I returned to the top of Golemaya's Citadel to look downwards at Sandover Village, unlocking another trophy tied to appreciating the view from one of the game's highest points. The remaining trophies were now mostly at Rock Village, so I moved on to Rock Village where I had a couple of challenges left. These included destroying crates scattered throughout the area, completing the zoomer race in under 40 seconds, which is required to be a bit more precision and good control of the zoomer. I also revisited Lost Precursor City to complete the slide challenge. This was still as fun as the first time, sliding down whilst avoiding the obstacles and trying to maintain control. The final challenge before the platinum was to go back to the Forbidden Temple, where I had to reach the top without running out of blue eco. It was a fitting final task, bringing me back to the earliest area of the game before finally unlocking the platinum trophy. Overall, Jak and Daxter Precursor Legacy was an amazing game to revisit, especially since it was the first game that I ever played. Even after all these years, the charm, the world design, characters, platforming still holds up incredibly well. The seamless open world areas, fun movement and variety of eco powers make the adventure more enjoyable from the start to finish. The platinum experience was also an enjoyable one, with no missable trophies and the majority of them being tied to collecting power cell scout flies and orbs. It felt more natural obtaining a 100% completion journey rather than a grind. Revisiting each area to finish off the remaining collectibles was satisfying, and the game was doing a good job encouraging exploration. Overall, Jak and Daxter is a fantastic platformer that still feels special today. The platinum was straightforward, nostalgic and a great reminder of why the game became such an important part of my gaming history. If you made it to the end of the video, please leave a like and subscribe for supporting my channel and for more platinum content, and I'll see you in the next video.